What is up, YouTube? How y'all doing, man? Hey, check it out, man. This is my man right here. I really like when Roger speaks, man. It's like, yo, I'm just telling you like it is. I ain't trying to stretch this situation. I'm not trying to, yeah, he did it, man. He did it. This what happened. And, you take it and leave it. And, right. Oh my God, man. Y'all hit that subscribe button, hit that bell. I really think that once he start backing up things that Gene Deal is saying, you got Gene Deal that's saying the same thing. And then you got Roger. Both of these people was Diddy's bodyguard. They worked on Diddy's team. I'm still trying to see what the cook got to say. She's starting to jump online and starting to say a couple of things. But the thing about it is, it's her delivery that's wrong. Oh my God, dog. Golly. Y'all hit that subscribe and hit that bell. Let's check this bad boy out.
Because
man.
I believed him. I believed everything he said. My main job was to make sure he got home safe, because if anything happens to him, all the dreams and things that we talk about is out the window.
That lack of belief in yourself and more belief in somebody else is what allows your dream to die. That's how people have control over you.
I felt like
not really,
when she put me into that was God point. Telling me again, is you going to speak up this time?
You would have not said a word about nothing that happened with Diddy had you not been added in the lawsuit by Cassie.
Yeah, I'm not going to let nobody do that to my mother, or nobody do that to my sister, or nobody do that to my daughter.
You did time in prison. You was with him for 9 years. It's almost like
9 years.
You didn't have a choice.
Nobody else had the heart to step up. Nobody else cared what was happening to her.
What has been your biggest lesson?
Damn, you hear that? He said nobody had the heart to step up. Oh my God. I didn't know. I didn't know it was a lot of heartless people in the hip hop. I thought it was straight up street people. I thought all of them was they just faking. Half of the people that's acting like, well, you know what, if I act like I'm from the street, because they smart. You have to be smart to get to manipulate this hip hop game, the music industry. You got to be able to know when to sign contracts and read, or go get a lawyer and sit down and listen. You got to be smart. Street people can't do that. They can't.
Years, it's almost like you didn't have a choice.
Nobody else had the heart to step up. Nobody else cared what was happening to her.
What has been your biggest lesson that you learned about business, marketing, life, working with Puff? Then Ciroc Boys, what would you say is the biggest lesson you learned in that period?
Honestly, it's a lesson that I don't like, but it's a lesson that needs to be learned, and that's
be true to God. That's the lesson.
Hey, wait. I know you want to watch this next video, but listen, if you are an entrepreneur, business coach, business consultant.
That remind me, y'all, I got a YouTube course that I'm putting together, man. And if you want to take Uncle Mike's YouTube course, got to learn growth formula, man. It's a thing called growth formula. So, yeah, that's crazy, man.
On the planet.
Today's
show is a special show. We got Roger Bonds in the building, a high-level sales strategist and cultural marketing. Best known as, some people may know him as Diddy's longtime head of security, but some may not know that he was the head of Ciroc Boys South, where he helped drive millions of barrels of Ciroc vodka through territory-based execution, influence marketing, and loyal-driven distribution. His expertise sits at the intersection of street-level promotion, regional brand domination, cultural credibility, high-volume sales execution. Roger Bonds understands how products actually move, how trust converts to transactions, how most brands fail outside of theory. He is the author of the upcoming book, Bonds, and we're going to talk about that. But I'm excited to have him in the building. Roger Bonds is in the building.
Damn, I love that.
Yes, sir. So I appreciate you, bro. So I think for a couple of reasons, man, like, I think number one, you know, just kind of getting it out there. Like, a lot of people have seen you recently, in the, you know, the Redemption Diddy documentary. And a lot of people kind of don't understand, who you are, you know, what you represent, where you come from. You come from my hometown, our hometown, you know, Harlem, NYC. But before we even get there, for those who don't know, man, who is Roger Bonds?
Roger, I'm a master marketer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And when I say master marketer, I say I've been marketing all my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We've been marketing growing up in Harlem, growing up on the streets. And I just sat back and took that to when I had the opportunity to take those same values, same principles. And I said, damn, if I put this into Ciroc at that particular time, but just not Ciroc, anything that I do that has to do with selling something, I said it'll be successful.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I say who's Roger Bonds, I'm a jack of all trades.
Yeah. Yeah. Talk a little bit about like how sort of like the streets prepared you for being able to market, right? Because I feel like, I mean, I've always had this thing, like I grew up in the St. Nicholas housing projects, 129th Street, 8th Avenue. I grew up in an era where, you know, I was surrounded by drug dealers. I was surrounded by, you know, people who just got money. And I learned, I didn't have like mentors for real. Like, I learned, the art of selling. I've learned, marketing. I learned, strategic negotiations even from drug dealers. Luckily for me, my OGs kept me out the street. I played basketball, wound up, you know, having a career in banking and all that good stuff that allowed me to use the same skill set to be successful in corporate America. Talk a little bit about that. Like, you growing up, you know, talk a little bit about your history, but like, how did what you saw in the streets help, you know, as you started working in, you know, like in the corporate space?
It's basically easy. If you sit back and you analyze what went on in the streets when it was congested. You know what I'm saying? Everybody had work. You know what I'm saying? So it's the same thing when you're dealing with the liquor business. And I tell people that all the time. People say, yo, but there's so many different brands out there. Okay, but what's going to separate the boys from the men? Same thing that separates you on the block. You know what I'm saying? Who got the best work is one thing, right? But it's not about who got the best work all the time. It's about who got the best people, who got the best marketing. And back in the days, we ain't call it marketing because we all basically had the same work. You had red top, you had green top, I had yellow top. But guess what? We got the work from the same connect. You know what I'm saying? But if you ask a fiend that, or if you ask a crackhead that, or if you ask a cokehead that, they'll be like, oh, nah, green top is better than red top. When you sitting back there, you saying, damn, we all got the same work. So what separates us? What's going to separate us is the way that I put the work out there. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to beat it in the ground. I'm going to be there every time you come. Because we all done brought stuff simply because it's convenient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all done brought stuff simply because we know if we go to that block, they're going to be outside.
Yeah.
Rather than going to somebody else's block who got better work. But when you go there, they not there. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? I made sure every day we beat that block up. You know what I'm saying? If it's not going to be a day that nobody's not there. You know what I'm saying? So I knew that. I learned that early. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that you there. Make sure it's convenient. Make sure you polite, and people want continuous come. So I did the same thing with Ciroc. I sat back and I watched Puff, and he had Ciroc boys, which was Meek Mills, Rick Ross, him, and it might have been a couple of, it was some woman that was involved. I think Taraji P. Henson got involved in it, and Cassie got involved in it. You know, Laura London got involved in it. So I sat back and watched. And one thing I noticed was that it wasn't really nobody from the South that was on a B level or a C level. Everybody that he was dealing with was on the A level. So when I moved to Atlanta, I said, hold up. I said, I'm going to come up with something because I'm going to tell you the truth. The first conversation me and him had was, you're not going to make the same money being with me being with Ciroc. And I looked at him kind of crazy. He was like, nah, because honestly, them white people ain't gonna pay you, and you ain't underneath my payroll no more. So in one way, I agree with him. On another way, I said, that's bullshit. But I said, okay, so now, because even he asked me, he said, yo, what made you come up with Ciroc Boy South? I said, when you told me that you wasn't going to pay me the same money that I was making, I said, yo, I'm from Harlem. I'm going to figure it out. So what I figured out was that from me being with him on an everyday basis like that, I had to put value with that. You know what I'm saying? You had a lot of people saying they was Ciroc boys, they was this, that, and the other. But if it came from Roger Barnes, somebody that we know is stamped, then it's going to mean a lot. So that's what I did when I came down to the South. And I named it Ciroc Boy South, but it wasn't just the South. I had a Philly crew. You know what I'm saying? I had a New Jersey crew. I had a New York crew. I had an Atlanta crew. I had a California crew. So what it really was a bunch of B marketers, a bunch of C status people, and I gave them a chance. You know what I'm saying? So they helped me move. They helped me move Ciroc. But at the same time, you have promoters in Atlanta, you have promoters in South Carolina, you have promoters who just needed that little help, that little push, being a part of something, and they could go from here to the sky. So it was like one hand washing the other. Whereas when you dealt with the original Ciroc boys, you had to be that person already. You know what I'm saying? So I fed people and people fed me.
And so just to backtrack a little bit though, right? So prior to, so you did Ciroc Boys, so almost like a decade, right? Like you were part of, or you led the marketing, which is how you sold millions of barrels of Ciroc. Prior to that though, you worked about 9 years.
Right, 10 years.
10 years head of security with Diddy. So talk a little bit about that transition. Like what was, and we talk about it in the book, Bonds, Loyalty, Lies, and a Life That Almost Killed Me. What was that, like, why was that transition? Like, why did you transition from head of security and then now you're like, yo, I want to do something different?
It was, and I'm going to tell it to you real. If you think back to back then, my conversation with him was because of diabetes, right? I had got diabetes. So the doctor had told me, he said, yo, you can't keep doing what you're doing. You can't keep eating that food that you eating and traveling and waking up and doing this, that, and the other. But to me, it was a strategic move because I was tired of being around him. You know what I'm saying? Real talk. It became a dreadful day every day. Something that was so great, traveling all over the world. That's supposed to be like, oh, this is it. It became dreadful. You know, it became, watching him every day, doing the things he was doing, saying the things he was saying. It became, in reality, it became from a person hero, you know what I'm saying? Because growing up in Harlem, you know what I'm saying? Him being black, him being young, him being rich, me watching him treat white people the same way he treated black people when it came to where he was supposed to be at. You know what I'm saying? Like I remember one time specific, I think we was in the Waldorf Hysteria in France and we was in the elevator. And the elevator stopped on the floor, and the white lady, you could tell she was prominent and rich. She got ready to get on the elevator, but then she seen us and she stopped. And he stepped from the back and said, what? I'm not supposed to be on this elevator? And I had a respect for him because of that. All that went away the more and more time I was with him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, traveling a lot, doing those shows, it on the outside looking in, the grass look greener on the other side. But once you in it, it takes a toll on your body, man. You getting up, you got to make this time. You got to be, where's my bag? We're in a different hotel. You actually, every time you wake up, man, I'm just talking from experience. I'm like, I can't wait to get home. Then when you get home, your body and everything is just off timing. Everything is just off for a good little while. You got to get back into your bed. You know what I'm saying? That's not good,
not supposed to be on this elevator.
Yeah.
And I had a respect for him because of that. All that went away the more and more time I was with him. You know what I'm saying? As we hit our 40s, because we like a 2-3 year difference in age. So as we hit our 40s, I said, okay, we did all the bullshit.
Yeah.
Right.
We getting ready to calm it down now. We getting ready to get this money.
Yeah.
We would have the conversations about that. Yo, I'm getting ready to calm down. I'm getting ready to do this.
Yeah.
But I noticed that when his kids became of age, it was like a second breath to him. And the same shit we was doing back then, we was starting to do all over again. You know what I'm saying?
With
and
the kids.
that's where the unhappiness came to me. Me being a father, I start seeing stuff like, you know, he had daughters now. So I start seeing a lot of different things that I didn't agree with. But I couldn't move at that particular time because it wasn't financially right for me.
Yeah.
So when I caught diabetes, I said, this is going to be the excuse. Rather than me having to sit down with him and tell him, yo, I'm trying to leave him, and him getting bitter because I know this individual. So if I sit here and tell him, yo, I really ain't feeling what you doing, I don't want to be around you no more than that. It's not going to be like, yo, I
respect that.
I respect that. I got something else for you to do. That's not going to happen.
You see how he lay out the story, and it's like, that makes sense. And you can actually say, you know what? Dang, that's right. So I need an out. Because I'm kind of stuck in this whip. You see how every time somebody try to leave, he kind of do somebody wrong, especially the women. I know he was doing the women wrong, and he saw that. He saw what was happening to Cassie. That's why Cassie put his name in that lawsuit, man.
That's what you doing. I don't want to be around you no more than that. It's not going to be like, yo, I respect that. I respect that. I got something else for you to do. That's not going to happen. What's going to happen is, all right, nigga, go do what you going to do then. Now, being in jail for as long as I was in jail, then now spending the next 12 years with you, it's like, what else can I do? You know what I'm saying? So when I got the diabetes, that was my way out. I had always stayed in contact with people in the office. Always stayed in contact with people in the other parts of his business because they always wanted to talk to me because I was always with him. So I found out a job had opened up at Ciroc. And they said, yo, we got an ambassador job that just opened up in New York. So I sat down, you know what I'm saying? I hit him on the BlackBerry back then, broke everything down to him that the doctor said. And he came back to me and said, yo, you know, I usually don't move people from this type of job to my executive staff. He said, but I'm gonna let you do it because you're sick and this, that, and the other. So deep down inside, if you look at it face value, it was because of diabetes, but deep down inside, it was because, man, I see what he's going through right now. I foreseen it 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
I didn't want to interrupt you long. I know Ash Cash is giving out some heat, but
golly, that's crazy, man. He said he foreseen it. And what tripped me out is this. When you deep into this stuff, man, it's hard to get out. You know, it's hard. It's just like a job. It's hard for you to change jobs. You know, if you're trying to get out of your job, your boss or manager doing something you had no business doing.
What do you say? Because I hear, you know, like you said, you know, you did time in prison. You was with him for 9 years. It's almost like you didn't have a choice, you know what I'm saying, to be around, you know, that type of energy. What do you say to the people who, are overly, critical of you? You know what I'm saying? But like, I mean, you know, where we from, you know, silence is golden. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He don't care.
And some people, I mean, your reputation, let's just say, as somebody who, is highly respected in the streets. You know what I'm saying? Some people may look at you in the documentary and be like, nah, yo, I can't believe Bonds is talking. What do you say to those people?
I'm gonna be real with you. I've lost some friends, like real talk. I've lost people that I thought was real friends.
Yeah.
Real friends.
Simply because they might call somebody else that we consider friends.
Yeah.
And be like, yo, what's up with Bonds, man? What's up with you? Nah, man, that nigga talking, yo. That nigga speaking it. But
he's snitching.
Somebody might
Street
say,
code.
what is he talking about? And he said, but nah, you like, I lost a friend from here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And he told another friend of mine, now you don't understand what Bonds meant uptown. You don't understand, yo, his name was Gold. Like, yo, when he came through, was da-da-da. Now niggas is talking different. But I look at it like,
Wow.
I look at it like, what are you going to be? What do you want to leave here? Like some people say, I want to leave legacy.
Mm-hmm.
Some people say, I want to leave my kids money, this, that, and other. Yeah, I want to leave all that too.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that really started getting into me because my son was incarcerated,
Mm-hmm.
because I had daughters, because I got a daughter in the music industry, was, I want them to be like, my pops stood up when it counted.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So that meant more to me, and that started meaning more to me than whatever somebody else said. Because when I sat back, I said, what did I say? I said everything that somebody else already said. I said everything that this woman already said in court.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I didn't say nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Compared to-
Cassie put me into the lawsuit. You know what I'm saying? I'm sitting back there. I'm getting phone calls the next day. Yo, you seen it? You seen what? I ain't even see it yet. Yo, Cassie suing Diddy and she put you in the lawsuit.
What?
So I tell people, I say, damn, I was minding my own business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Doing my Ciroc boy thing. She put me into it. So now once you put me into it, it's either two things that can happen. I could stay silent or I could speak up now. You know what I'm saying? So I always think like whatever you meant to do, some way, form, or fashion, God is going to bring it to you. Like you could duck it
Come on
this
now.
way, you could go to the left, you go to right, he going to bring it back around to you. So I felt like when she put me into that, that was God telling me again, is you going to speak up this time? You ain't speak up before. You ain't say nothing before.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I felt like because my daughters was big now,
Yeah.
I said, okay, this is my time to speak up.
Yeah.
And then I tell people all the time, I say, yo, I left Diddy in 2012, right? And I say him and Cassie been together all the way to 2018. She didn't put this lawsuit in until 2023. Why all this time she could sit there and say, yo, Bonds is the one that helped me. So while you worrying about what I said, people say, yo, but you was there, you was this, that, and the other. But why you think this girl only mentioned me all the way up to 2023? She didn't mention nobody else that's around them to this day. Because nobody else had the heart to step up. Nobody else cared what was happening to her.
Yeah.
So instead of y'all just ridiculing me and saying, yo, he said this, he said that. Nah, he stood up. Because I know that all of us, one thing we all got is a mother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We might not have sisters, we might not have aunts, but we all got a mother. So if this was happening to your mother, would you want somebody to say something?
Right.
Would you want somebody to speak up? And and that's how I deal with myself.
Yeah.
I'd be like, yo, I'm not gonna let nobody do that to my mother, or nobody do that to my sister, or nobody do that to my daughter. So that's the only thing that I say to them. And I say, once again, I'm gonna ask you, did you see me on the stand in this federal trial?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Did you see any statements from me in this federal trial? No.
Yeah.
Did you see anything that you would say Bonds brought to the table that these people ain't already know? I sit up there and I talk about him beating up Cassie. Okay, the whole world seen that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I sit up there and talk about him and Kim having problems and situations. The whole world know that. You know what I'm saying? The whole world know Kim cut him. Whole world know he messed up Kim nose. Okay, what else can you sit there and tell me that Bonds said? The only reason it means so much to people is because if Bonds said it, then they're gonna believe it.
Yeah.
And that's where I leave it at.
Yeah. Nah, I respect that. And what?
See how he put it, man. See how he put it. He Bonds put it so. I don't need to be no drama into it. I don't need all this. Man. I forget them people, man. He just lay it straight, man. I hope the situation with his son gets better, man. His son is locked up in another country.
What about so talk a little bit about you talk about your son being incarcerated.
I just said
I know
that.
I've just understanding your story a little more, all of the things day in, day out that you've done to protect as a head of security, like you're literally putting your life on the line for someone, right? And promises were made to you. Some people might say, man, you had a situation with your son and, you're talking now because, he didn't keep his word as to like, the situation.
And to that, I'm not gonna say, you're right. Some people might say that,
Yeah.
but not all. Everybody says that. Everybody that doesn't know the story says that.
Yeah.
And guess what? I'm not going to tell them they're 100% wrong.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm not going to sit here and say, yo, me talking ain't have nothing to do with that. You know what I'm saying? One thing about me, I'm going to be a man. I'm going to be straight up. Yeah, that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
But that's not my only reason.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That just solidified to me the type of person he was. It's like me and you get into situations, and we all know Puff has situations throughout the years. You know what I'm saying? We was living in LA. So we always had situations in the club where Suge would be outside and stuff like that. But with the way that a person think and a person move, we always made it home safe.
Yeah.
And then when you make it home safe, that's when a narcissist, I call them, or a person that's manipulative, I sit there and tell you, damn, yo, I could never get $100 million and not take care of you. You know what I'm saying? You know, we in this together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now some people might say, okay, but then when you from the streets, the one thing a street dude or one thing that a person has lived through the streets, only thing we got is our word.
Thanks.
You know what I'm saying? Only thing we got is our loyalty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So whereas it might be a 9-to-5 dude who's used to that. You know what I'm saying? He might be used to reporting to work and the boss telling him something and he don't adhere to it. Okay, boom, boom. But I'm from the streets.
Right.
So when you sit there and tell me that,
Right.
that's in the back of my mind.
Your word is your bond.
Your word is bond.
bond.
You know what I'm saying? And then when I
Street
don't
code.
have the things that you have, I'm holding on to what you're saying. I'm not worrying about nothing.
Right.
Like a lot of people say, yo, why when you was with him, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, you didn't do this. And I tell him, I say, because I believed him. I believed everything he said. So I felt like I didn't have to do this. I didn't have to do that. My main job was to make sure he got home safe, because if anything happens to him, all the dreams and things that we talk about is out the window. Okay. So guess what? I'm going to give 100% to this situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that at the end of the day, it's going to be worth it. So when it wasn't worth it and I seen the type of person that he was, I didn't feel no way about saying the things that he did, saying what he did to me. I felt a certain way about my son, because now you're not just playing with my life.
Yeah.
Not when I sit back and throughout these years, I've seen you speak up. I've seen you make certain moves for other individuals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then now that when my son is in a situation where we all know you strong enough, this is Africa.
Yeah.
We all know that you strong enough to pick up the phone. I'm with you.
Yeah.
You
For
know
those who don't know, can you shed light a little bit about like the situation with your son?
Oh, well, in 2011, my son was locked up in Namibia, Africa. He was charged with a murder charge, right? No witnesses, no weapons, no gun was found, no witness, just the fact that he was from America. Just the fact that him and a co-defendant, which I don't know, but him and a friend of his was supposed to have a meeting with a guy down there, right? And they never had the meeting. I'm going to say this. My son never went to the meeting. It was a maid in there to say, yo, the light-skinned one, he never went out. She told the police, she said, the time that you saying this is happening, he was in his room. My son was in the room with the maid. So she know he was in the room. They did away with all that and said, yo, they from America. They came down here. They did it. He didn't go to trial until 13 years later.
13 years.
13
So
years later.
He gets arrested and he
in 2011.
For 13 years.
He's sitting in jail for 13 years. It wasn't until 2023 he blew trial.
Wow.
He blew trial with no witnesses, no nothing. It was nobody said they could say he did it.
Yeah.
Nobody, no gun, no nothing, no fingerprints, no nothing. He blew trial simply being black and being from America.
Wow.
Right? Not only did he blow trial, the judge was so prejudiced down there, right? Which is a white victim, a white judge, which people were saying, yo, how did that happen? Because when you think about judges, you think about maybe 115 judges and 3 of them might be white.
Right.
Right. So they say, how you end up getting a white judge?
Right.
How you end up getting a white victim? How you end up getting a white DA in Africa?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But it happened. You know what I'm saying? And the judge didn't give him no time served. So when he gave him 29 years in 2023, he told him it starts now, which is illegal, especially for an American. You got to treat an American a certain way, you know, regardless of what you all do. But from me talking to so many lawyers down there, even if he was from Namibia, if you do, you get every day that you serve is a day in jail.
Right.
So you get credit for that.
Right.
So for him to say that my son was there for 14 years and he's not giving him no credit, that's ludicrous.
Wow.
So that's what we fight now.
Wow.
So to go back then, and which Puff knew about, because me and him was in Paris when my son got locked up in 2011. And I flew straight from Paris and I went to Africa and we dealt with that. And while I was with him, we would talk about it. You know what I'm saying? But as soon as I stopped being with him, it was like out the window. You know what I'm saying? Then it was times when me and him would talk and he would be like, okay, we're going to do everything in our power to get him home. You know what I'm saying? Let's get him home. How much money you need? This, that, and the other. And then these things would get pushed to the side. Damn. So yeah, I did have my feelings about that. But is that the only reason why I spoke up? No. The only reason I spoke up was, one, because she put me in it. And then two, I really felt like
it was the right thing to do,
bringing it back around to me. And I want to make a difference because that's one thing I'm against. I put my mother in that situation. I put my sisters in that situation, and I don't feel no way about it.
So for clarity, you would have not said a word about nothing that happened with Diddy had you not been added in the lawsuit by Cassie.
Had I not been in the lawsuit, I wouldn't have said nothing. I wouldn't have said.
So for those who don't know, literally you were added in a lawsuit, and then Cassie mentioned your name
in the lawsuit.
The only one though. So all the other bodyguards, nobody else's name is in there but you.
Nobody else's name is in there. And I hadn't been with him in 11 years, and she still remembered that one incident.
Wow. And then that incident that she put in there was you coming to her rescue, or?
Yeah, I was coming. Well, it was a party that they had on Sunset Boulevard. It was maybe the Golden Globes or one of those. Don't hold me to it. Might have been one of them other, but they always have them events right there on Sunset. And it was a black tie affair. So I remember she was talking to Johnny. I think Johnny Wright, I think his name. He was a big time manager back then. He had Danny Kane and all that other stuff. So he was always wondering why Cassie's career never took off. So she was talking about him and getting ready to ask him about management and all that. And Puff saw it and he just went crazy. You know, he grabbed her, snatched her, threw her on the ground, and I seen it. And I ran up the block. I said, yo, what you doing? And I grabbed him up off him, threw him to the side, tried to throw her in the car. He went around the car, whole bunch of shit. He tried to kick her, stomp her, and all that shit under the car. But truthfully, I tell people all the time, you can't do nothing for somebody that don't want to be helped. Yeah, I helped her that night. I didn't just help her. I helped him. You know what I'm saying? My job as security is I'm helping both of y'all. I'm helping you from stopping getting your ass whipped, but I'm helping him from not getting locked up. You know what I'm saying? Now, once we get inside the car, you know what I'm saying? She's acting up, he's acting up, but we in the car. We get to the house. I don't have no control over what goes on in that room. And Puff is the type of person that once he see you get in the middle of that like that, he's not going to do nothing else in front of you. He's going to do it behind you. So that's for all the people to say, oh, but this was going on. This was going on. No, if it went on, it didn't go on my watch.
Right. Got it. And so now, you know, fast forward, you're out of that situation. You find a reason to, you know, to say, you know what? This is my exit. The diabetes happened.
Right.
You know, I'm doing Ciroc Boys. Talk a little bit about, you know, was there support, right? Like selling millions of, I know for me, when I think about Ciroc, for a long time, Diddy got all of the credit for that. You know what I'm saying? Like it was like, yo, you see what he did with Sean John? You see what he did here? Was there support? You know what I'm saying? Like, why?
I'm gonna tell you what it was. It was jealousy. That's what came into play. And when I say that, people look at you like you crazy. People be like, crazy? What the fuck that nigga? Like, he gonna be jealous of you. He's worth at that time, maybe 800 million, blah, blah. You not worth nothing, this, that, other.
Yeah.
But I tell people it's bigger than the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I had actually one of his best friends come to me and say, yo, you need to start mentioning homie name a little bit more. And I said, what you talking about? And now when certain people come to you and tell you stuff, you know that they didn't think of that on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, what you talking about? Nah, you know, me and homie was talking and he just felt like, you know, you feel like it's yours. And I'm like, yo, that sounds like the most ludicrous thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I'm mentioning his name every chance that I get.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But it just got to a point when we would be out, when he would like go to take a picture and people would be like, yo, can Bonds get in that picture? And he'd look like, you know what I'm saying? Or when we go into a place together, the DJ might be like, yo, Ciroc Boy Bonds in the building, boom, boom.
Yeah.
And he start looking like, you know what I'm saying? And it came to a point where
dang, that's
he
messed up.
would actually get jealous over that.
Dang.
And he actually told me one day when we was arguing about some money, right? And see, that's what I say. It's so many different angles with Puff.
Yeah.
I booked him for years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you wanted him, being
He
that I
booked
was
Cassie
next to him,
too.
you had to go through me to get to him.
He
You know
booked
what I'm
Cassie,
saying?
yeah.
Average person that books might get 20%. You know what I'm saying? Maybe if you worth what Puff was getting booked, you'll get 10%.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's worth so much money.
Yeah.
I took it to the point where, yo, just give me 5%. You know what I'm saying?
Damn.
And it was an argument there to get the 5%. And I'm
Damn.
like, damn, I'm booking to the point where one day he told me, he said, yo, you shouldn't even worry about that. I made you. And you made me.
Or,
So I heard that and I said, yo, what you say? And he was like, nah, nothing. But in the back of my head, I said, this nigga just said he made me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was Bonds before you made me.
Yeah.
My name was ringing bell. Matter of fact, don't you
Damn,
remember
that's
the
messed
reason
up.
you rocking with me is because my name was ringing bells uptown. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, it was about who you was being security.
Right.
It wasn't all the stuff that you get now when you get security. It was about,
Facts.
yo, I got to move and shake. I got to move and shake with people that other people know.
Right.
Facts.
And being that I was in jail so long, being because I caught the body, being I was moving around, it was like, nah. I get phone calls. Yo, you gonna be with homie tonight? Yeah, all right. Nah. Why? What's up? Oh, nah. Y'all niggas can't do nothing to him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because and what happened with Puff was he got to a point where he believed the people feared him. And it never was the fear of you.
Yeah.
It was the fear of the people around you.
Yeah.
Before me, it was Wolf. You know what I'm saying? So
Rest
it's
in
like,
peace
yo,
to Wolf.
you got the wolves around you and you're not even realizing the wolves is keeping the people off.
Right. Fact.
So yeah, do I feel a certain way? I don't care at first I did care what people said.
Yeah.
But now I'm at the point where I be like, yo, them people don't know what I went through. Them
Right.
people don't know what was promised to me. Them people don't know the loyalty and the lies
Right.
and everything else that almost killed
And the
me.
life that almost
what
killed
I'm
me.
saying?
Bars
Yeah,
first.
they don't know that.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
And that's the reason for the book.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To explain all that.
Sure.
But the main reason for the book is not even to tell about Puff.
Facts. Yeah.
It's to tell the youth.
Yeah.
It's to tell dudes that just came home from jail. Cause see, my fault too is when I listen to people say why you stayed so long.
Yeah.
What I try to tell people now is don't stay long. Don't stay so long to the point where you can't do nothing else.
Like a
Don't
job.
stay so long that you get in your 40s and you like, damn, but I can't do nothing else. It's like staying in a marriage when you know in the first 2-3 years we ain't gonna make it, but then you get divorced 20 years later and it's like, damn, I just wasted, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'll be the first one to admit. I kind of knew that this wasn't gonna work. I kind of knew it was gonna go where it was gonna go, but I thought I would have an exit plan. Then it comes to the point where you do it so long, there is no exit plan.
There is no
And that's
exit
where I
plan.
fucked
Thank
up
you.
at.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. And so, I mean, it's a lot to unpack, and I appreciate, I appreciate, that you're telling the story because, again, when we look at your life now, like you've been through a lot, ups and downs, you learned a lot. You at a space right now where, again, you did Ciroc Boys 10 years. And
even with Ciroc Boys, going back to your question, it was no support there.
Yeah.
You would think that after so many, we're moving cases.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I got the Ambassador of the Year award 2 years in a row from actually Ciroc, not Puff, but from Ciroc. right? Because they know you can watch the numbers. In marketing, you watch the numbers, you watch the graph. Where we selling the most at? Oh, our numbers is all of a sudden it's going up in Philly.
Yeah.
Oh, all of a sudden it's going up in Alabama. All these B cities that nobody else was paying attention to.
Yeah.
That's what I paid attention to. I paid attention to the cities that nobody else paid attention to.
Yeah.
But you got to always remember, you got an on market and an off market, right? So now Atlanta, you go inside the club, you're going to pay $300 for a bottle of Ciroc. When it was at its height, you're gonna pay $250 to $300, right? So you go to Alabama, who don't have the clubs like we have. You go to North Carolina, who might not have the clubs that Atlanta has. New York has, DC. Where they going? They going to the liquor store. They going to the liquor store to buy their liquor, and then they going back to the crib, or they going back to their little shing-ding where they have a party. So now, if you're somebody there, that's how you gonna run up the numbers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's why I say the street taught me that. But I can't sit here and lie and say Puff didn't teach me nothing.
Right.
Because you'll be a fool to be underneath somebody like that and not learn.
Right. Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So a marketing game I took from the street, then I took the part that he showed me business-wise, and I put them together, and that's how we came up with that. And I was in my feelings because they would ask me, why Puff don't never mention us? Why Puff don't never say nothing about Ciroc Way South? So I had to keep moving and keep going, even though I didn't have no support. I had to act like we was getting support. I had to act like I would be on the phone with him and we would be, he said we could do this, we could say. I was doing all that on my own because I knew at the end of the day, the only thing that people really care about is the numbers. They don't care how you got the numbers. They just look at the numbers.
What would you say, what has been your biggest lesson that you learned about business, marketing, life during that? I'm gonna now call it the 20-year span of working with Puff, then Ciroc Boys. What would you say is the biggest lesson you learned in that period?
Honestly, it's a lesson that I don't like, but it's a lesson that needs to be learned, and that's to put yourself first.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because the whole time that I was doing that, I always thought about how it would affect somebody else. I always thought about how it would help another promoter, or how it would, because I always felt like I was taken care of. So everything that I did for other people to for it to help them. You ain't got the money, don't worry about it. We're going to get it done. You know what I'm saying? And nobody cares. You know what I'm saying? So the biggest lesson I learned, which I should have learned from him. Because he taught me that lesson from day one. I don't care about nobody else but myself. You know what I'm saying? And when I say myself, I don't mean that he don't care about his family and stuff. I mean that he just cares about his family and his preservation first. And I didn't. So that's the one thing that I learned.
So just kind of playing devil's advocate though, if you look at this lesson that you learned from him and how he kind of worried about himself, things of that nature. But if you're looking at where he is right now, it kind of looked like, that boomerang, just kind of that karma boomerang kind of came around. What, would you say that like that type of lesson, it didn't look like it worked out for him? I guess is what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so, the fact that you have, kept a lot of secrets, you know what I'm saying? Whether it's the streets, whether it's with him or whatever the case may be. And then now you're at a space where, like you said, God gave you this, second chance, if you will, to go to Ciroc Boy. But now, even now with Cassie putting you in a lawsuit and then the book coming out, when your message to the youth, right? When you're like, now that you're going out, you're speaking, your guys coming home, what is one message that you want to give to them? Like, as it relates to loyalty, right? And what I mean by that is, a lot of times there is like blind loyalty. Sometimes there's loyalty to the wrong people, right? Where we live, I know for myself, like we from the same place, so we live by certain codes, right?
Right.
And so at the end of the day, like regardless of, and I'll even say myself right now, right? like I'm in an entrepreneurship space where there's a lot of sucker shit that happened in my space. You know what I'm saying? And regardless of a lot of that the sucker stuff that happened, I still have to move a certain way. Right? Like I've had situations where I know it came back to me that there's certain people that were trying to block me from doing something that took money out my pockets, that took money out my family pocket, whatever. And I'm not I'm not in the streets, so I can't handle it the way the streets would handle it, right? And so I just gotta eat it.
Got it. Right. That's what people don't realize. Uncle Mike has eaten a lot of studio time. Don't worry, man. And how long you think the equipment been broke? Man, it's been about 2 hours. Then the engineer tell me, man, it's been about 30 minutes. You said 2 hours? Boom, I give you 2 hours free or take 2 hours off your bill and I still pay the engineer. Sometimes this is part of business. What people don't realize is this. When you're running your own business, I want y'all to know this. You're going to take some losses. You're going to take some very unfair losses. That's what he's talking about. You got people blocking you. Go ahead and block me. Okay, when you block me right there and it cost me this amount of money. But guess what? I'm not going down that road no more. I'm going to go this way this time. I gave you a shot. I gave you a chance. I gave so many people shots and chances and you should do this and you should do this. No, this is not the plan we're going with. You got to stay with the team. Man, the team does a lot of things I don't want to do. I wanted to go live Friday, and they said we shouldn't. Majority rule, fine, you got this one. I go upstairs and lay down. Come on, man. Listen to
me that there's certain people that were trying to block me from doing something.
Certain people trying to block you.
That took money out my pockets, that took money out my family pocket, whatever. And, I'm not I'm not in the streets, so I can't handle it the way the streets would handle it, right? And so I just gotta eat it. But then when it come back around, when there's like a level of like vengeance, or I could get people back or whatever, I still live by a code that's like, nah, you know what? Like I ain't even gonna play that game. And I looked out for people who I shouldn't have looked out for. You get what I'm saying? And so for me, someone would hear that and be like, yo, that's blind loyalty. Like, why would you be loyal for somebody who, like, this is your opportunity to get back? I guess my question to you is like, the youth coming up, especially when we hear all of this, like this Young Thug stuff, the Gunna stuff, the, 21 Savage saying F the streets, like all of that is happening. Like, what do you say to the youth? Like, what's the true narrative? Is it be loyal no matter what? Is it, you know what I'm saying? Don't give blind loyalty. Is it remove yourself from certain situations once you see somebody's character? Like, what's the lesson that you're giving to them?
I think what you just said is a little bit of everything. You know what I'm saying? You got to put yourself and your family first.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's one thing that I learned.
Yeah.
The second thing that I learned is loyalty. And when you say loyalty to what? Do you owe that person more loyalty than you owe your family, than you owe your loved ones, than you owe yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And pull yourself away from a situation. So it goes back to all of those things happening at an early time. Because a person sends you signs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We choose to ignore the signs looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And to answer your question about people that you got to deal with that did you wrong, sometimes they more powerful than you. Sometimes you need them to get where you going. But mentally, you got to put them in that box. And you got to say, yo, I don't forget what that person did. But I'm not going to let them change me. I'm not going to carry that misery around every day.
Facts, yeah.
Because they still living their life while you miserable. But when it comes back around, I remember what happened last time. So I got them up in that box. A lot of times what happens is we let time, we forget. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I tell people that all the time. Like I had a rapper and he was like, matter of fact, my daughter, which sings, before she got a deal, she was saying, but that person wasn't dealing with me, this, that, and the other. So I had to tell her, I said, that's life. You know what I'm saying? You can't get mad at somebody who didn't give you a shot when you was nobody. And then now when you start looking like you going to become somebody, that same person now got time for your phone calls.
Right.
You can't hold that in because that's business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you just got to put them in that box.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You got to let them know, like, okay, I see, because you still could be turning down some money by acting funny with them.
Right.
They still that person. They still getting money.
Right.
They still can open doors that you can't open. So you just got to play with them. When I say play with them, I mean you just got to put them in that.
Hold up, man. Mark dropping bars. He dropped, that's a bar. That's a bar. Listen to what he's saying, though, for real. This is some stuff that'll help y'all, man, for real.
Put them in
Watch
that
this.
box.
Yeah. Put them in the box.
You know what I'm saying? You got to let them know, like, okay, I see, because you still could be turning down some money by acting funny with them.
Right.
They still that
Turning
person.
down
They
money
still
by
getting
acting
money.
funny.
They still can open doors that you can't open. So you just got to play with them. When I say play with them, I mean you just got to put them in that box.
Yeah.
I know that they not there for this.
Right.
They there for that.
Right.
And that's what I tell them
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. And that's good perspective, though, because I think that, again, like even from a code perspective, like I've seen that. I've seen people have these opportunities, let's just say, but because of emotions, right? Because they take things personal or emotions or whatever, they lose those opportunities, right? How do you, how do you get to a space where you manage emotions and separate sort of like the streets from, like the rules of the streets don't work in business or don't work in corporate America per se. You know what I'm saying? They work, but they don't. And
you're
so,
right. I just said that. Some of these street people, they got one gear, or they think one way. Protect my family, lie, cheat, and steal the best way I can. That don't work in the beginning of business. You have to show honesty, loyalty. You got to kiss behind. They don't want to do that. He want to up one person, the guy I'm talking about, I forgot his name already. He don't, or you kiss behind. Well, you sucking D, see, that's one up, that's street, one up. But you're a Christian man. No. Mark Barnes is real. He speaks from the heart. I made mistakes in my life. I done served time. I'm from the streets. My man right here, I like him. He said, well, I ain't from the streets. I'm doing business, and he's speaking from the heart. They both speaking from the heart. That's when education comes in. You start getting educated.
Like the rules of the streets don't work in business or don't work in corporate America per se. You know what I'm saying? They work, but they don't. And so, there's times where like certain people wouldn't play with you if it was the streets.
Right.
Now you get on the internet, or now you're doing business, like people feel like they could talk to you or play with you. How do you manage that emotion, or how do you manage that? I'm not gonna call it rage, but sometimes it's like, like who you know what I'm saying? Like you don't even know what type of animal I am for real. You know what I'm saying?
That's because that's the internet.
It's funny because, I had a friend that just asked me, he said, man, I be watching you on Instagram. He said, man, I get kudos to you.
Yeah.
He said, because I heard that dude, not heard it, but I seen that dude say this and say that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do that shit, yo.
Yeah.
And it all comes with maturity.
Yeah.
It all comes, you got to remember, the same way people come at me about Puff, I got to sit there and remember, you don't even know Puff.
Facts. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So when you say this and you say that, I got to remember, you don't know what the conversation, you don't know what the promises, you don't know what the talks, you don't know nothing.
Yeah.
So you got to remember that when you dealing with that. And then you made a choice. You know what I'm saying? You made a choice. If you're going to be in the street, you're going to be in the street. But you can't have 1 foot in and 1 foot out. It don't never work. We seen it a million times.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can have 1 foot in, 1 foot out and still get 100 years because of that 1 foot that you had out.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, if I'm going to do business and I'm going to do corporate, like it's so many people, man, this is my word. I had a dude that hosts a lot of parties there. He said, yo, I was in the barbershop the other day. He said, I don't, Gangsta Lou that was down with AZ and them? I said, yeah. He said, yo, he was talking about you the other day. I said, word. He said, you and him had a beef back in the days. Blah, blah, blah. He said, yo, he said, yo, I said, Ciroc Boy Bonds? He said, yeah, Ciroc Boy Bonds. So you got to remember that you crossing over. Like, that's yesterday.
Right.
Don't nobody want to hear about that. So you gotta be the person that don't want to hear about that. You got to be the person that can make the transition.
Yeah.
One thing that I could say as being security, right? Puff would say when he had these meetings, he would be like, nah, don't leave such and such in there. Nah, Bonds could go in there. Let Bonds sit in there with them. And then when he would come back in, me and them people would be talking. And he'd be like, later on, he'd be like, yo, what y'all was talking about? You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, we was just kicking it. Because you gotta know how to turn it to that person that's dealing with that situation.
Right.
Like if I don't sit there and tell the person I've been locked up, if I don't sit there and tell the person I had a murder charge, they'll never know.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna open my mouth and just from my vocabulary and the way I talk, oh yeah, he from such and such and such. Nah, you're not gonna know that.
Yeah.
So if you make that transition, you gotta take everything that comes with that transition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like a paper gangster. You gotta realize it's gangsters in corporate world.
1000%.
They just paper gangsters.
Absolutely. More gangster than a gangster with the gun.
Exactly.
To be honest with you.
You know what I'm saying? If you want to risk your life, you could go out there and wait for them after work and all that. But they what we call civilians.
Yep.
So if they civilians, you know what I'm saying, that means that they could run right back in that building, call 911, and you're going to get 100 years.
Yep.
So it's up to you. So if you choose to go on this side right here, this is what you're going to deal with. If you choose to be in the street, but you can't do both.
Yeah.
I chose to go corporate.
Yeah.
So I had to swallow because you go through the same things because I didn't go to college for being a marketer, right? So I dealt with the dudes that went to college and everything, doing the behind the door shit and everything. And I'm like, yo, why the fuck why they do that? You know what I'm saying? Because I'm still in the street mentality saying we don't do that. And I had to realize, nah, we not in the street. Right. You know what I'm saying? We in corporate.
Right.
So I would say, like, forget those people that's just talking. Yeah. Realize they don't know you. Realize they don't know the people that's in there. Yeah. And then just stay on track. You got, and then honestly, and this is not for TV or nothing like that. You got to put God first, man. Yeah. Like, you got to put God first because God is going to be your calming down method.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when I get to that point, I just start praying. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it just calms you down. You know what I'm saying? It's the same way when I was in solitary confinement and I'm sitting in there for 23 hours a day, right? And when they put you in there, the walls is talking to you because you stuck in a little room and your heart is beating mad fast and you looking around and the flap on the door is closed and there's nothing going on. It's only one person you could talk to. And that's God. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And after 20, 30 minutes, your heart will start slowing down. You'll stop being so, and be honest with you, it was times that they opened the door for me to go to the yard and I'd be like, yeah, I ain't going out. I'm staying in the room for 24 hours a day. Right. And it don't bother me. And that's because I got right with God. Right. And that's what you got to do.
No, I love that. Love that. Puff is home today. Calls Bonds. What you think the first thing he's saying to you is?
What would he
say to you? Yeah,
honestly.
Yo, that was some bullshit you was on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But to be honest with you, if he uses the time to think, you know what I'm saying, in the back of his head, I would say the same thing. Like, if me and somebody was with me for 10 or 12 years, every day. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Now, we was together over 20 years, but we was together every day, 10 years. I mean, we lived together in Beverly Hills. We lived together here. So my room was downstairs. This room was upstairs. Yeah. So this is somebody that hears everything, knows everything, done everything. Yeah. So in the back of my mind, I'm saying that shit that he talked about wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? So that's me, myself.
For sure.
If I'm going to be man enough about it, I'm going to be like, I was wrong. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And we sit down and talk about it. It ain't nothing that you could do for me now. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And people say, yo, if Puff was to say, yo, he got XYZ for you, would you take it right now? I wouldn't take it. And that's the honest to goodness truth because now I feel like it's dirty money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like blood diamonds.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's dirty money. I feel like if you gave it to me now, it's not coming from your heart.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whereas before, I would have felt like it came from your heart.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
if he got on the phone and said, yo, what the fuck is your problem? I would explain to him exactly what my problem, and I would hope he would be man enough to say, okay, you're right. I just wanted to hear what you was going to say.
Yeah. When you think about, this new book, and your mission and where you want to, take your life and your mission and what you want your legacy to be, what does the next, 5, 10, 20 years look like for Bonds?
Well, shit, if I got 20 years left,
God's will.
You know what I'm saying? God's will. You know what I'm saying? Now, I wanted to be that, I listened to, like, this made me go to domestic violence.
Yeah.
So, I got my certification in domestic violence.
Yeah.
I went back and got my certification in anger management.
Yeah.
I went back and got my certifications in things that I felt like was my calling from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And like I tell people all the time, I don't talk about nothing that I've never been through.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to sit here and just tell you book knowledge. I'm going to put book knowledge along with experience.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm going to say what I want to do is stop that person from thinking that they not enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because that's what I thought at the beginning. I thought like, okay, yeah, I got a shot. I've been in jail. I got a shot. This is all I can do. You know what I'm saying? So I would tell the next person, first of all, that's not all you could do. You know what I'm saying? I would let them know to believe in themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because see, that's how this whole thing got entangled. I didn't believe in myself.
Yeah.
I
There it
believed in
is.
somebody else more than myself.
There it is. There it is right there. That's the hardest thing for the human to do. Who are we to put ourselves down? God, we are God's children. God made us to shine. But we are so afraid about what other people think about us, right? We are so afraid about what other people feel about us, what they're going to say about us. Y'all don't hear me? I should have church right now. That we don't even want to step out there and do what God told us to do. We don't want to step out there and believe that I can do this. I can get in front of this camera and talk to y'all. Man, they gonna laugh at you. They gonna call you stupid. They gonna call you old. You got gray hair and all this stuff. Everything that you think that will hold you back, you should embrace it. Good God Almighty. That's growth formula. Everything you think is wrong, I can list 1,000 things that's wrong with me that you can do better. That's growth formula, y'all.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe in somebody else's dream more than my dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I let myself cut myself off and say, damn, my past is going to be my future. So, that's what I mostly tell a lot of the young dudes that I talk to. And then the dudes that I talk to that come home from jail, I let them know, yeah, you're going to bump into a lot of different obstacles, right? Unless you do something for yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, people don't care about your past as long as you could bring them money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? As long as you could bring them money, they don't care what you did in the past.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So at the same time that you're enriching yourself, you're enriching others. So what can you do, you know what I'm saying, that you can become important not only to your family, but to other people, to the world, and to the future. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I tell the kids. And when it comes to girls, you got to talk to them a whole different way. You know what I'm saying? And I always tell a woman, and it's kind of hard coming from a man perspective, but I always tell a woman that you got to believe in yourself, because Cassie, it's a million Cassies out there. It's a million Cassies who want it so bad that they willing to go through those trials and tribulations and belittle themselves on a dream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But when you think about it, that's because they want the easy way out. You know what I'm saying? Because if you got talent and you willing to take the long road, you wouldn't care about a puff. You wouldn't care about nobody else, because you know that this is what you do.
Yeah.
But when you bump into people like that, that enables them to take advantage of you. I'm going to do this for you. I'm going to give you this. And you hope, no, believe in yourself and believe in God. and it'll come through.
Yeah. No, I love that. And I think that that's powerful, because one of the things that I'm taking from this as well is that a lot of times, that lack of belief in yourself and more belief in somebody else is what allows your dream to die. But then also that's how people have control over you. Right. And while you think, man, and this is powerful, right? While you think that you're sacrificing or you're sacrificing something for your dream, you're actually sacrificing the dream.
Exactly.
Right. Because I, even when I think about Cassie, right, to the point where, yes, she was able to, get millions of dollars, let's just say, but at what cost?
At what cost?
At what cost? And to the point where, anybody who's ever gotten money knows that it's not really the money. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's like, all right, so now you got money, but you never really was able to live out your dream.
Exactly.
Of being a star for your voice, for like, you know what I'm saying? And so like, yeah, people knew you, but not, you know what I'm saying? Now, from a legacy perspective, your legacy, and I'm saying Cassie now, like your legacy is built off of, is connected to something negative.
Okay, I just had a daughter.
Yeah.
So I say, okay, is my daughter gonna grow up? Is she gonna hear this or she gonna hear that?
Yeah.
But no, what means the world to me is all of the people that sit there and tell me, yo, I'm so happy you finally saying something.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you talking, because I think about her.
Yeah.
And I say, she gonna be like, okay, he started out on this trail.
Yeah.
But I tell people all the time, it ain't how you start.
Yeah.
It's how you end.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what I want to end. And I want the legacy to be about somebody who came from the streets.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? But somebody who understands, like what you said, 21 Savage said the streets is over.
Yeah.
Yeah, the streets is over.
Yeah.
And I think when you get to a certain age, you got to accept that the streets is over.
Facts.
So if you haven't made it by that age right then, you got to say the same thing. The streets is over, and this is what I want to be remembered as.
For sure. So everybody listening, man, Bonds, Loyalty, Lies, and a Life That Almost Killed Me. Definitely a great read. Definitely documentary ready though. Like you're like, that's one of the things. Like I'm honored that I was able to work on the book with you. But like your life really like reads like a documentary. And I think that was one of the reasons why I felt like it was important to help push and get the story out there, because to that point, right? Like in some ways the world is connecting you, right? To Diddy, to this whole situation, where the truth is Roger Bonds is bigger than that. You know what I'm saying? When you think about, the legacy that you've had in Harlem, the legacy that you had on the opposite side, there is, a life that people need to understand. And then again, now, we're on the side of, all right, like, how can you use your story to be a blessing to others? And now, we want to see you on stages. We want to see you, talking more even, you know what I'm saying? Great storyteller. So potentially podcast coming out soon, potentially.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So a lot of things happening. Is there anything that we talked about, or any question that I didn't ask you that you would have loved me to ask you?
Nah, my thing is this. I love having you involved in the book. Yeah. And it's been other people that came to me, yo, I could do this, I could do that. Yeah. But nobody came with a concept. Mm-hmm. Like, I wanted it to be different.
Yeah.
We all read about people from Harlem. We all read about the BMFs. We all read about, so me being a street dude ain't nothing new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Every hood, every city, got a street dude.
For sure.
But
that ain't nothing new.
What differentiates this book from everything else is that the lessons that's in it.
For sure.
It stops and tells you, well, this is what you should have learned from this.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Which is different. You know what I'm saying? Because you're taking a chance and people saying, damn, I was just looking for some shoot 'em up, banging up the whole time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I say this is for the youth.
Yeah.
This is why I say this is for the person that came home from jail. This is for the person that's in the office even, because it's telling you how to deal with people that been through these type of things. Because a lot of people that's corporate, it's not that they bad people. It's just that they really don't know how to deal with a person like you.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? So this book teaches you how to deal with that person. This book teaches you about loyalty. This book teaches you about lies, but it tells you how to move on from it and how to deal with it.
For sure.
So, you know, that's what I wanted to get across. For sure. And that's what we did a great job in doing.
1,000%. 1,000%. Listen, thebookofbonds.com is where you're going to get the book. The link is in the description. I appreciate you, brother, man. I think again, like,
oh, and you gotta let the people know, because we've been getting a lot of hits from Russia, from France, from where else? It was Italy. You know what I mean? And they've been wanting the book. You know,
So bookofbonds.com, and then you know, when y'all go there, I guess because I know homegirl who tried to get it from France. It's like, yo, the shipping and handling costs more than what the book is gonna cost. So when you go to the bookofbonds.com, the book is gonna be available everywhere. Amazon, Barnes and Nobles, Walmart, Target, wherever books are sold. The books are going to be available there. So when you hit the link to the description, if you buy the book directly from Barnes, you know, if you in one of these other countries, the shipping and handling might be crazy. So make sure go all the way to the bottom and hit the link for Amazon or Barnes and Noble. So that way you make sure, you know, you get the price where you won't get killed for it, but it's going to be available everywhere. Paperback, hardcover, audio book. So we're going to work on an audio book as well. And so, yo, make sure y'all go to the bookofbonds.com, to support Bonds, loyalty, lies, and the life that almost killed me.
That's it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. If somebody wanted to connect with you, if they wanted to follow you online, where can they find you?
Roger Bonds, The Real Roger Bonds, Instagram, Roger Bonds, Facebook.
There you
Roger
go.
Bonds 5317 on YouTube. We getting all that together now. We got the website coming up that's gonna be crazy. We got the podcast we working on.
Okay.
And this is truthfully for everybody. I don't want people to feel like, oh, I'm not in the streets. This ain't for me. Yo, this is about Cassie and them. I done read too much about it. This is life changing.
Let's go, y'all. Lock in, y'all. Lock in. The Real Roger Bonds in the building. Thebookofbonds.com. Get the book. RogerBonds.com. Like you said, everything is going down. We are closing out the vault. Another awesome episode of Inside the Vault with Ash Cash, the greatest money mindset show on the planet. Make sure you follow us. Go to InsideTheVaultShow.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at Inside the Vault. Me, I am Ash Cash. Make sure you visit me, IamAshCash.com. Follow me on all social media platforms at I am Ash Cash. And also join the Abundance Community. Go to theabundancecommunity.com. We will see you next time, same place, in God's will. All right, y'all. Peace.
Hey, that was all right, dog. That was all right. I like my man. I like what he's doing. Mark Bonds, I would love to talk to Mark Bonds about marketing and promotion, especially in the street. But that's old school. But at the same time, how to take your knowledge of marketing and put an extra twist to it to do it online. That's important. Hey, y'all tell me what y'all think, man. I see y'all in the comment. Shout out to my enders, meaning that you made it to the end of this video. Shout out to all my enders. Let me know in the comment. I'm an ender. Let me know what you think about Mark Bonds and how he's speaking and everything. It's incredible, man. If you want to change your life, I have a YouTube course that I'm putting together, man. It's awesome. It should be called a life course. It should be called a life course, which I am showing you some theory to change your life, to make things better. It just so happened that we're using YouTube to bring your income up so you can start working on your credit, bring your credit up. Some people are like, oh, my credit good. Nah, somebody told me that. If you don't have an 800 credit score, you need to pay attention to this. And then on top of that, I am actually showing you how to do online investments. And I ain't talking about no cryptocurrency schemes. I'm talking about a way that you take your credit money and start investing it. And then you see that happen. And then you got a better shot of paying back the credit cards. And now you got this working and you ain't even touch your money. You ain't touch your money. You ain't touch your money. And I have a guy that's showing me this, and he's awesome. So we're going to turn that into a course. Y'all take it light, take it slow. Tell him Uncle Mike told you so. Peace out.